Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is Ferris, and how are y'all doing this evening? Well, we finally got a little bit better weather at the moment. It's been a little while since I've put a video together from the last time. It's been about over a week, because every time I wanted to do a video, it was pretty windy outside. So hopefully you can bear with me. There's a little bit of wind right now blowing, but it hasn't been as bad as the last few days. What I really wanted to show y'all what I've been working on on this truck. We're back with the 95 GMC 3500, and I've been doing some work to this truck in between videos here. One of the things I've been doing to it is I installed a new power steering pump, which is right there. Yep, that's the power steering pump right there. The reason being that I put a new power steering pump on this truck is because when it was up to normal operating temperature, you could not turn the steering wheel very easily. It was hard to turn the steering wheel, and I need all the turning that I can get out of this truck, being as heavy as it is. So I finally was able to put a power steering pump on it. Now, to install this power steering pump, you need a few special tools. Now, this pulley right there, yeah, that pulley right there, requires a puller. Now, the puller goes right here on the outside of that pulley, and then the inside of it pushes up against this shaft right there. So in order to get that power steering pump out, that pulley has to come off with a puller. And there's a few bolts behind that pulley that hold that power steering pump, as well as that bracket. I don't know if y'all can see it right there. That bracket right in there that holds that power steering pump in there as well. So once I got all that taken care of, well, let me back up a little bit. Before I even did anything to it, I flushed the power steering system from the old fluid. Now you might be wondering, well, how'd you do that without making a mess? Well, I've got this little tool right here. This is my little suction gun. And how this thing operates, all you gotta do is just pull back on this lever right there, that lever right there. You pull back on it while holding on to the body of it, and you suck out the fluid up through that tube into the body, and then you drain it into a drain bucket or drain pan. So I did that with fresh power steering fluid first before replacing the power steering pump. And then once I was ready to replace the power steering pump, I sucked out as much as I could out of the reservoir right there, and didn't make quite a mess. So I wound up taking it apart, took that pulley off, and replaced the power steering pump with a new one. Actually, it's a remanufactured power steering pump on this truck, and it works awesome. I can be somewhere, and when I need to turn from a dead stop, and I can turn the steering wheel, and it works like it should. And it's got new fluid in it. It's all up to the proper level now. As you can probably see here, it's got fluid on the measuring stick with the cap. So that's one thing that I've been working on this truck. We also did an oil change to the engine. The oil was already black after 1,500 miles. Now, I don't know if that's because the engine was dirty inside from the previous operation of this engine, but I wound up changing the oil again because it was all black. Now, let me show you what else I've been working on this truck. Now, if you look at previous videos, I showed you that I was going to replace this transmission line right here. Well, I wound up replacing that transmission line, and it does not leak anymore. Now, here's what I did. I wound up cutting the transmission line right here and back there where that other fitting is. And we have these fittings at the shop that clamp on. This fitting right here clamps on to this metal line. Now what happens is there's a little, what they call ferrule, or a little sleeve that's in here with this whole connection. So we put everything together and we put the steel line in this connection right here, and you can turn this nut with a wrench while holding this here, and while you're turning it, it will tighten down the ferrule that's inside and seal it up against this steel line. So once I figured out all that, I wound up putting both pieces on the line and then measuring the distance and putting a hose in between and crimping a hose on it in our hydraulic shop. So it came out really nice, and it was a good fix. The other line the original line looked like that. It was crimped from the factory like that, and that line was not available anymore aftermarket. So that was going to be the next best repair, is to have those fittings on those lines with that hose crimped in between. Now that hose is just a regular hydraulic hose. It'll withstand about 5,000 psi. This transmission does not put out 5,000 psi in line pressure, maybe not even 100 psi on line pressure. So that's some of the things that I've been working on this truck. This may give you some ideas on how to fix certain things on your vehicle, especially when you can't get the parts anymore, but it needs to have this certain adapter for it to work. So let me know what y'all think. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Look for me on Instagram with FearlessFly100. Share with whoever you have about all these videos that I've been making, as well as future videos that are to come. We thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed everything. We'll see you on the next video.